Good afternoon. The Senate Transportation Committee will come to order. Could you open the roll? Let's take attendance.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take Delegate Austin first. He has two bills, and he has to get to a subcommittee meeting in appropriations. And so we'll take his bill. Which one would you like first?
Mr. Chairman, let's do 1363 first. It's pretty
okay. Turn your attention to Senate Bill 1363. Delegate Austin, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, this is brought to me at the request of Botetourt County. We're naming a portion of US 220 North in Botetourt County the Norvell Lafayette Ray Lee Highway. Mr. Lee was born in Botetourt County. He earned his wings as a Tuskegee Airman and served in the Pacific during the World War II. He retired as Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force Reserves. He also won an Olympic medal in boxing in 1952, gold medal. So I think this is an honorable thing to do in recognition of Mr. Lee's accomplishments and success. So
sounds as if we have a motion to. Well, first, anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition? How about in the virtual world?
If you are on the Zoom and would like to speak on this legislation, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion, a second to report. Kirk, would you open the roll?
Ayes 14, no zero.
Ayes 14, no zero. The bill reports. Sounds like he's a wonderful guy.
he was, Mr. Chairman. Thank you kindly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman,
now we have
482.
Senate Bill. Turn your attention to Senate Bill 482.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Austin, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, HB 482 establishes metrics to measure the efficiencies of VDOT's review and approval of residential commercial development plans. More specifically, it requires the department to collect information to support these metrics, including the length of time it takes the department to review plans from the date they are received in the local office until comments are returned to the local government. Number two, the number of reviews required to achieve final approval of plans. And number three, the measures reported at the residency, district, and statewide levels of the department. After several years of collecting this information, the department shall use the data points to establish performance standards for the review and approval of residential commercial development plans by January 1, 2025. The bill also provides that the department shall submit a report of the original performance standards developed to the chairman of the CTB. HB 482 passed out of the House 98-0. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Delegate Austin. Other questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's
Senator
a fine
Suderland.
bill, despite the House of Delegates just passing it along with so little debate. I think we should move on, too.
Senator Favela.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On paragraph B, lines 28 through 35, and I understand that we want the department to develop metrics, which is great. We're trying to figure out how long it takes to review an application and the back and forth. I just want to make sure, and so I want to say this publicly, I think we have representatives of VDOT here, I'm sure we do. I just want to make sure that we take into consideration the length of time the applicant may take to actually respond to questions and to submit an application that can be acted on, because otherwise the metrics may look deceptive.
I agree, Madam Senator. I think this would only measure the time that the bill is in VDOT's possession.
And
yes,
that's
ma'am.
The only thing it would
time
measure.
that VDOT has the bill and the time that it takes them to act on and return the bill. It wouldn't take into accordance the time that the county or the applicant gets the bill back to VDOT.
Okay. All
yes,
right.
ma'am.
So that's a good clarification. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Favola. Other members of the committee have questions? Is there anyone in the audience who would wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone in the audience wishes to speak? Oh, excuse me.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Clark with the Home Builders, and we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone in the audience in opposition to the bill? Is there anyone in the virtual world who would like to weigh in on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
Move
I
to
move to report.
Senator Suderline. We have a motion and a second to report the bill. Could you open the roll?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bill reports. Good luck in your committee.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Thank you
committee.
so much, Delegate Austin. All right, the next thing we wanted to get out of the way before we get back to the list is we have three bills: House Bill 179, House Bill 259, and House Bill 920, which are identical to Senate bills that passed out of here 40-0, and all of these bills were unanimously reported out of the House. Can I have a motion to vote these bills out of here?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
In the block. We have a motion and a second to vote these bills in a block. Any, what's that? The numbers again are House Bill 179, House Bill 259, and House Bill 920. They should be the first three on your docket. We have a motion and a second. Any further comment or questions? All right. Clerk, would you open the roll?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bills in the block report, and there we go. All right. Our next, our first person on the list here is Delegate Wampler. Delegate Wampler, are you in the room? There you are, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have House Bill 667.
Turn your attention to House Bill 667. Delegate Wampler, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, House Bill 667 calls for the renaming of Shifty Lane in Dickinson County, Virginia, to become the Staff Sergeant Darrell Shifty Powers Memorial Highway. I know you have a long afternoon in front of you. Just to be brief, this guy was a 2 times Bronze Star awardee. He fought the entire duration of World War II. He's from Southwest, moved across the state to Norfolk, where he was building some warships, and then decided to sign up for the Army. He was in the 101st Airborne, Easy Company. If any of you all have seen Band of Brothers, either read the books or watched the series, his character was profiled prominently in that show and book. This guy's a legend of Southwest, and we would love to memorialize him in Dickinson County with this. There is a negligible fiscal impact. I think it was 2 signs at $1,200 a sign, but this would be a huge deal to the people of Dickinson County to have one of their war heroes memorialized in this way. And so I hope it be the will of the committee to pass this bill.
I think I've watched that series 3 times.
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
So first, do we have any comments or questions from the panel, from the committee? Anyone in the audience wish to weigh in? Anyone in the virtual world?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll entertain the motion.
Move approval again, Mr. Chairman.
We have a move to report. We have a second. Would you open the roll, please?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Wampler, for bringing this.
Thank you.
Very important. Appreciate it. All right. Next on our list, we have Mr. Edmonds. Delegate Edmonds, welcome.
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I can always count on Delegate Sproul to move the docket along. But,
Now, hold off,
let's
Snake.
hear the
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Senator Sproul. Just hold that thought.
delegate today.
Mr. Chairman, House Bill 67, which is an amendment, easy for me to say, an amendment in the nature of a substitute, conforms the state code regarding overlength vehicles to federal code. Mr. Chairman, there was considerable discussion on the original bill, but there is now peace in the valley with the state police, the Loggers Association, and Joe Homeowner. The bill simply increases the size flagging required for overlength commercial vehicles to 18 inches from 12 inches and allows fluorescent orange or red colors to be used. It maintains that any overlength load hauled between sunset and sunrise shall have a red light.
Thank you, Delegate Edmonds. Do these signaling increases that we're doing here, will that be also out the sides of the vehicle, or just in the rear?
It is the side as well. So the same. I think it's 4 inches to the sides, and then 4 feet to the back, to the length, over length.
Were there any concerns around those flags creating an additional problem with vehicles attempting to pass, large vehicles attempting to pass?
Mr. Chairman, none of those considerations are brought out, but that's current law now, so it doesn't really change that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the committee on this bill?
Move to report.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this bill?
Mr. Chairman, Ron Jenkins, Virginia Loggers Association. We support the bill. I don't think that there would be any problem. In fact, it will improve the visibility, the size, and the shape of it. And we commend Delegate Edmonds for bringing it to the attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone wish to speak in opposition? In the virtual world, does anyone wish to weigh in on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, move to report.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to report. Would you open the roll, please?
Ayes 14, no zero, one abstention.
It's raining stone. Bill's laying on the floor for you.
Ayes 15, no zero.
All right. Who is that? At any rate, we're not going to bring it back. You want to take it to the floor? Okay. Great. The bill reports 14 yes, 1 abstention, and you can always count on your friends in the Senate, Delegate Edmonds.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
15. Oh, did we get a change? We fixed it. All right. 15-0. You're on your way. Thank you so much.
Chair.
Good to see you. All right. Next, Delegate Batten. Welcome. Tell us what bill you have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have House Bill 530 before you.
All right. Delegate
And
Batten, you have the floor.
thank you. I'm not sure whether or not you've received this, but there was a technical amendment that was provided to me by council this morning right before we went into session. So I'll be happy to explain that to you, or I can explain the bill first.
How about we have the staff report the amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Delegate Batten, I apologize for the late notice. On line 122 of the engrossed bill, after time, strike that. At the beginning of line 124 of the engrossed bill, insert the. These are purely technical amendments.
All right. Any questions on the technical amendments? Do we have a motion to accept them? Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It shows here that this is similar to Senate Bill 301, which is Senator Deed's bill.
Mm-hmm.
Does this, with this amendment, does that now conform this to Senator Deed's?
Mr. Chairman and Senator Cosgrove, the bills are different. This does conform the language in the overlapping parts, but Delegate Batten's bill is broader than Senator Deed's bill.
Thank you.
All right. Let me just check on one thing here. Difficulty locating. Okay, here we go. All right. This is similar to Senator Deeds' bill, as was just reported. Both were reported unanimously. Do we have a motion? You want to explain your bill now in its fullness?
Yes, sir.
Yes, let's adopt the amendment. Do we have a motion?
I move that the amendments be adopted.
We have a motion, a second, to accept the amendments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay. Let us know about the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 530 revises multiple sections of the code pertaining to driver training with the intent of improving the pipeline of CDL holders. Specifically, the bill authorizes DMV to provide sample questions to test takers. It removes the retest fees. It allows governmental entities certified as third-party testers to administer the CDL skills test. It authorizes driver training schools to administer knowledge examinations, and it changes the validity of skills test results from 60 days to 6 months. I'll be happy to answer any questions from committee members, and I also have a representative here from DMV if you have very technical questions.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Do we have questions from the committee? Senator Boysko.
Mr. Chairman, this is probably for our staff. If you could compare the two bills between Senator Deed's bill and this, what the actual differences are. I'm wondering if we need to conform them or if they're really standalone.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Deed's bill also makes changes to gets rid of the reexamination fee and allows for governmental entities to test employees of other governmental entities. In those ways, the bills overlap. And then Delegate Batten's bill is broader and addresses other issues related to CDL. So if you were to conform this to Senator Deed's bill, you would be removing some of the substantive provisions of Delegate Batten's bill, but the bills do not conflict.
That is the motion ultimately I had in mind after we deal with any more questions from the committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Going to do standalone.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And yes, Senator Spruill.
She is new. Let her have her own bill. She's new.
It is, she will indeed have her own
She'll have
bill.
her own.
It is, but we can conform.
Mr. Chairman, just to make sure I clarify, if we conform this bill to Senator Deed's bill, we would be removing substantive provisions from Delegate Batten's bill.
Okay.
So I would not recommend, I don't believe that that's the
Way to go.
of the committee.
Okay. We'll accept that advice. First off, from the audience, anyone here to speak in favor of the bill? Here we have Ms. Ford from DMV.
Linda Ford, Acting Commissioner, DMV. The administration supports this bill, and like you said, that there were 2 additional provisions, so we prefer it to stay a standalone bill. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else wish to speak in favor? Anyone else in opposition in the audience? Anyone in the virtual world wish to weigh in on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have a motion on the bill?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to report. Would you open the rolls, please?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. Bill reports. Thank you, Delegate Batten.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next up, we have Delegate Coiner. Is she here? Oh, okay. Next, after that, we have Delegate Scott. Welcome, Delegate Scott.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 40 is a bill that codifies something that most DMVs are already doing. I had a constituent reach out to me after she tried to transfer the disabled veteran tags from her spouse who passed away over into her name, and the DMV in our area did not allow that to happen. Reached out, found out that some DMVs do this, some do not. So we're just codifying something that a lot of DMVs already do, which is allow the surviving spouse of a disabled veteran to transfer that disabled veteran tag over to their name to be able to honor their loved one. And I just ask that it be the will of the committee to pass the bill.
Thank you, Delegate Scott. We have a question from Senator DeStef.
Let's see if we can get this on. There we go. Delegate Scott, is this your first bill in front of the Senate?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Chairman, I was just looking for clarification whether it was or was not actually his first bill in front of the Senate, but not just the Senate, the Transportation Committee, Mr. Chairman.
It is usually most first bills are not brought before the fear and trembling that exists in front of the Transportation Committee. You've seen the vicious way in which we've treated everything so far.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Cosgrove.
I have a question for the delegate.
Senator Cosgrove.
The bill references a code section, which is section 46.2-725. Can you describe that in detail and tell us how this bill will actually interact with that section of code, how it will affect the state police, how it will affect DMV, and how it will affect VDOT?
The portion of my bill that does not impact that. If you look at lines 16 and 17, that's where the changes are being made.
Did you find that to be an adequate answer, Senator
Mr. Chairman, it
Cosgrove?
did not, because basically the code section is referenced in section C. And we also look at D, and it says, basically, provisions of subdivisions B1 and 2 of 46.2-725 shall not apply to license plates, meaning A still applies. Can you explain that?
Mr. Chairman, I cannot.
I love an honest guy.
It is. You get a lot of points for honesty, Delegate Scott. All right.
Chairman?
Do we have anybody in the
Yes, Mr.
audience who
Chairman.
wishes to?
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, Senator Spruill.
Can't y'all Republican help a brother out?
Yeah. It is. Look. This committee is a real soft landing for his first bill. So we'll take it from there. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone wish to speak in opposition? Anyone in the virtual world wish to weigh in?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I move that we report the bill.
Second, I have some serious doubts, but could we open the rolls, please?
My colleagues.
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. Beware.
Thank you,
Next
Mr.
time
Chairman.
it won't be this easy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Congratulations.
committee. Thank you.
Delegate Coiner has returned to the room. Delegate Coiner, you have a bill for us. What number?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have House Bill 275. It is in regards to the Commonwealth Transportation Board secondary street acceptance regulations. My bill would take the current inability to look at alternatives for stub-out roads and their connections, give them the authority to look at alternatives, and it is establishing a work group to determine what that flexibility would be in the future. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
So you do not want these things to just have to be automatic, because sometimes you're saving trees and view shed and other things like this by not connecting.
Yes, sir. We'd like them to be able to
stuff.
take into account other factors. Right now, there's very, very limited, where the point where neighbors and folks and communities are saying there's no flexibility. We'd like to be able to have our environmental groups, our developer groups, our neighborhood associations to be able to have a work group to figure out some flexibility that meets everyone's needs.
All right. We have any questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman?
Senator DeStaff.
Having been on the other side of this, where you're putting in turnarounds and stub outs and everything else as you're connecting whether a large office park or a development, and they don't go anywhere, and they stay that way for years and years and years and years, I'll tell you that it's a waste of green and open space. And furthermore, it's an expense that increases everything from the cost of an office building to the cost of a house. So I'm glad to see this bill finally coming to and through the General Assembly, and we'll tell you that this is something that we've needed for a long time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator DeStaff.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Boyska,
question for the patron. Question for the patron.
you have the floor.
Thank you. Delegate Corner, I haven't heard of any opposition, but are the local planners, the local governments all on board with this?
We've had no opposition. I think everyone agrees that having some more flexibility, but determining what that is and having the stakeholders come together to help VDOT determine that is what we're looking forward to
Great.
as part of
Thank
this.
you very much. I appreciate that.
And my understanding is with some of these things, it would improve travel through these areas and improve the time it takes to get from one place to another. But at other times, it wouldn't really improve anything, and it would just take down trees and open space. And so that's what the group would be looking at, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do have
Senator
one
Favol.
question. And maybe this is for the patron or maybe for general counsel. So VDOT will adopt the recommendations from this work group, the way I read the
Correct.
language. And it may result in needed changes in local comprehensive plans or local planning documents. So although that's not required, that local governments make changes that may accommodate this that might be a positive impact.
Yes, Mr. Chair. From my experience in working through our local governments, they rely on VDOT to give a response as part of that planning process. And so this would allow VDOT to give a response that if the localities in working with the project determine there should be flexibility, it would give the localities that additional flexibility. For some, if they have taken the current standards and incorporated them into their comprehensive plans, they may want to go back and change that. It doesn't take away the localities' ability to make choices there, but it gives them the flexibility if they so desire.
Thank you so much. Other questions from the committee? I think discretion and using judgment is a wonderful thing. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill?
Andrew Clark with the Home Builders, and we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Anyone else in favor of the bill would like to speak? Anyone in opposition in the audience? Anyone in the virtual world wish to weigh in?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. We operate on a motion. We have a motion to report. We have a second. Oh, second. We have a motion and a second to report the bill. Would you please open the roll, Hobie?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bill reports. Thank you. Next, we have Delegate Bennett Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 450 creates a civil penalty for non-electric vehicles that park in spaces clearly marked as reserved for charging electric vehicles. This bill is the companion to Senator Ebbins' bill, Senate Bill 278, which passed this committee and the Senate. My version of the bill, however, was amended by the House, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any questions from the committee with this troubling bill?
Mr. Chairman.
Delegate, Senator's staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Bennett Parker, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's good to see you again. So is this your first bill in the Senate?
Mr. Chairman, to the Senator, I would say yes, it is.
Delegate, Mr. Chairman, if I may continue.
You may, Senator's staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Bennett Parker. So your first bill is in front of this august committee. You're sitting there right now. And the room is about 74 degrees, probably about 99 where you're standing. But we're not going to bring that up because we have some friends in the audience that we know that don't want to be here all day. So this was a bill that is directly associated with charged plug-in electric motor vehicles. And do you know how many folks in the Senate and the House have electric vehicles?
Mr. Chairman, to the Senator, I would say I do not know the exact number, but I believe that there are members of this committee as well as members of the House that own electric vehicles.
Would there be one sitting on this panel? No, Senator Servell is gone.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman, there's a reason that electric vehicles are the fastest production automobiles in the world, with the new ones 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds. So, not that I know or would own anything like this, but thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Delegate Bennett Parker.
Are you saying that if Delegate Bennett Parker owned one of these vehicles, she would speed?
Mr. Chairman, what I am saying is that when one owns these type of vehicles, that third digit is very easily obtained.
I see. All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cosgrove.
If you don't mind, Delegate, we have not met. Okay, I was informed by my seatmate here that you had visited most of the Virginia Beach delegation. I must have offended you. I'm sorry. So, but being probably one of the only people that was not spoken to about this bill, I guess I would ask. This bill is similar to Senator Ebbins' bill. Can you tell us the differences between the two bills?
Mr. Chairman, to the senator, I would say first, Senator DeSteff sent me a letter, and I responded to that letter. And I believe I sent everyone a holiday card, and I certainly look forward to visiting with you in the future. The differences between the bills, the House was amended, made 3 amendments. First, the towing provision has been removed from the House bill. The Senate bill had a fine between $100 and $250. The House bill sets a maximum fine of $50. And then lastly, language was added that requires a charging station to be present adjacent to the parking space.
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Boysko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. While we appreciate the House's good efforts to improve the bill, I think that the Senate version might be more amenable to this committee, and I would move that we conform Delegate Bennett Parker's bill to Senator Ebbins' bill.
All right, we have a motion and a second to
Mr. Chairman, before we go
conform
on.
the bill. Senator Cosgrove.
2 things. Number one, looking at the 2 bills, and this has no reflection on Senator Evan, but I think I actually like hers a little better. I think it makes a little more comfortable people that were in opposition to it before. Senator Evans' bill had 12 negative votes. There was 24 negative votes in the House. And I'd like to make one editorial comment from Senator DeSteff. Where she lives, you can't get 3 digits.
Well, there you go. Are you?
I make a substitute motion.
Substitute motion?
Motion that we pass the delegate's bill.
Substitute motion is that we pass the bill. We have a motion and a second. But first, have we gone through and checked with everybody in the audience on this bill? Have anybody here wish to speak in favor? Not a very popular bill, Senator Bennett Parker. Oh my goodness. Anybody in the audience wish to speak in opposition? All right, in the virtual world, we have our old friend Vic Nichols.
If there is anybody else in the Zoom room who would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand. Wyatt Gordon, you may unmute and begin your testimony. Vic Nichols, you will be next.
Hello, committee. Thank you for having me. First off, I'd just like to say I think this is an incredibly popular bill. So just want to speak on behalf and give our full support from the environmental community, speaking on behalf of Virginia Conservation Network.
Thank you so much. Next.
Can I speak?
Ms. Nichols, is that you?
Yes.
All right, floor is yours.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. How you been?
Pretty
I'll see your
good.
name at any rate.
You should have seen it yesterday.
Uh-oh. I've been in trouble with you this whole session.
Well, we'll have to talk about that. No, this is a great bill, but the only thing that I would like to see is that it actually gets enforced. And the reason why I say that is handicap parking is vastly abused. Trying to get it enforced is another story. I mean, definitely this is an issue where no, you don't want several people going, oh, it's a close spot, or this spot or whatever, and I'll just be here for a few minutes. That's usually where the problem kind of comes in. So I just want to, wish it a whole lot of luck. I hope you pass it, and just to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. Next, we have
Charles Guerrera, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Yes, my name is Charles Trina with Drive Electric RVA, and we support this bill, both the House and Senate versions. And I just wanted to throw out one quick statistic that between June of 2020 and June of 2021, registrations of electric vehicles grew by 44% in the state. So that's a pretty significant jump. There's a variety of reasons why, nationally and locally, electric vehicles are being the choice of car owners, decreasing battery costs, the lower total cost of ownership. There's a demand for cleaner transportation alternatives. So we're going to have a lot more EVs out there. And so I appreciate that this is being proposed now while we're developing the infrastructure, both publicly and privately, so that we can be able to protect those investments and make sure that all those new EV owners will have access to that infrastructure. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. And we have a final speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Steve Banashek. I'm the electric vehicle chair of the Virginia chapter of the Sierra Club, and for reasons aforementioned, we support the bill.
Thank you so much. It appears the public likes your bill better than this committee does. I don't know. Well, do we have any other questions? We have
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Senator McPike.
So I do, I guess, have a question. The House removed the towing provision, but there's nothing that prohibits a private owner, private property owner from towing right now. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, I believe, I'll defer to council, but I believe there is a section of code that would allow that.
Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
All right. Good enough. I think we have a
Follow-up question.
Senator Favola.
I mean, there are parts of Senator Ebbins' bill I like, and there are parts of this bill I like. The only reason that I believe Senator Ebbin had, and I think it was my suggestion, had language saying that towing would be enforced is to sort of warn people that we, in fact, wanted to actually ensure there were teeth for a landowner to enforce this. But because I would, if the private landowner has the authority to tow and a driver doesn't know that, and then the car is towed, that usually causes great anxiety, to say the least. So that was the reason for requiring the no towing signs.
Senator Favola, there has not been a time in history that the tower and the towee have agreed.
That's not ever happens. No, I don't think that's ever happened,
So,
Mr. Chairman.
At any rate, I believe we have a, do we have a motion?
Yes, sir. I made a substitute motion to report this bill.
We have a substitute motion to report the bill and a second. Please record your votes. Open the rolls.
Ayes 9, no 6.
Oh, give us a chance.
All right, hang on.
I'm agreed. There we go.
What's this? Yeah, let's go this way.
Ayes 12, no 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ayes 12, noes 3. The bill reports. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, who do we, I think the roll has been wiped out here in terms of the list. Oh, thank you. Yes, Mark Keem, Delegate Keem.
Good afternoon, members and senators, and a special greeting to my friend, Delegate Senator Cosgrove. How are you? Good seeing you. I have a House Bill 703, and this is a bill that was suggested to me by one of my localities. And as you know, Mr. Chairman and members, when we have a number of these special license plates, nonprofits can do it, localities can do it, all these organizations can do it. There are some requirements in terms of how you get this done. I've tried this a few times with different organizations. The bottom line is that the town of Vienna that I represent, among other localities, is interested in issuing one for their town, for their residents, but trying to get all the residents to sign up in advance, pay all that, collect all the 350 applications, and then go to the DMV seemed a little bit onerous. And because it's a local government, they thought, what if they were to kind of step into the shoes of the DMV on the cost side of it, process it themselves, and then they can issue it through the town. So this bill would basically give them an option, only localities that want to participate, and an option for them to work with the DMV so that they can pay all the costs up front, and then work with the DMV to issue this to their local communities. So we didn't have any conversations in the House as far as any logistics. There's a fiscal impact, but the cost would be covered by the fees up front, so didn't have to go through a finance committee in there. But I believe that our town attorney might be online today if he needs to speak or answer questions, but otherwise, that's basically what the bill does.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Senator Cosgrove.
Thank you. May I ask Ms. Ford to come forward, please? Oh, big sigh. Commissioner, what would be the setup costs for setting up a special plate like this that the locality would have to bear?
I believe they're about $4,000, $5,000. Yeah, $5,800 for our programming costs. And yes, exactly. It would be absorbed by the payment that the locality would provide.
Okay, second question, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cosgrove.
Probably for for Delegate Keene. Is this just for localities?
Yes, sir, because
I mean, it's not for localities, say, hey, we want one for crippled frogs or something, right?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, to the senator's question, this is, as you know, nonprofits can do this themselves. Localities can do it for their own towns or cities with their own emblems. So this is just for the local governments, and it makes sense to me from a government perspective, because nonprofit organizations have tried this, various organizations, and they failed to come up with the numbers. But with the government, I mean, they're actually in the process of working with their residents on these things. And so if they put up the money up front, we were basically shifting the burden to the local governments to do this if they want to do it. If they don't want to do it, and if you read the fiscal impact carefully, some of these organizations that have these authorization end up not being able to meet the criteria, in which case it gets repealed anyway at the end. So there's really no burden on the cost of the state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Do we have anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition? Is there anyone in the virtual world who would like to weigh in on the bill?
If there are any attendees in the Zoom room who would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand. Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker. Vic Nichols, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Ms. Nichols, are you there?
Good morning. I am in favor of this bill. This is definitely something that we would probably take advantage of. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Cosgrove.
Just if does DMV have a position on this? No. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. DMV has no position on the bill. We have a motion to report. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to report. Could you open the rolls?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bill reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members.
All right. Next, I believe we have Delegate Wyatt. There he is.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Before you is House Bill 316.
House Bill 316. Turn your attention to Delegate Wyatt's 316.
Is come before at the request of Virginia Independent Auto Dealers, and what it does currently to be recertified as an independent auto dealer, they currently now have to take a 6-hour online class every 3 years. With the increased number of violations over the last few years, between 2016 and 2021, violations that come before the Motor Vehicle Dealer Board continues to increase. There was a really increase during the pandemic pertaining to the demand for temporary tags. So what this does is change the code to require that when an independent dealer gets recertified, they have to do an in-person 4-hour class every 2 years, as opposed to the online class.
And this is related to the fact that too many people are are in violation?
The increase as reports by the Motor Vehicle Dealer Board, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a matter of tightening down so that people pay more attention to
Hopefully
the rules.
The individuals that are actually selling the cars are the ones taking the class, because they will have to come in as opposed to an administrative person taking the online class.
Okay, staying after school. All right, there we go. Any questions from the committee? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill? Please step up and. Oh.
Mr. Chair, Gonzalo Wade on behalf of the Virginia Independent Automobile Dealers Association, and we strongly support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else in favor? Do we have anyone in opposition to the bill? So, got a question down here.
Mr. Chairman, got a question.
So, Senator Pillion.
Where would they take this test? And so it used to be online. So now somebody from Lee County is going to have to drive to Richmond to take the test?
There are, and I'm going to have to defer to the independent auto dealers on that one, sir.
Mr. Chair, Senator, to answer your question, the change will basically codify what's currently a regulation, and it would be an instructor-led program that has to be offered in person and virtually concurrently, and it has to be provided at least monthly, so this will not have any bad effect on anyone because of their location.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Pillion. Anyone else have any questions from the committee? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor or in opposition to the bill? Anyone else? Anyone in the virtual world wish to comment on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
I believe the motion will be to report and refer to finance. We have a motion. Do we have a second to report and refer to finance? We have a motion and a second. Hobie, could you open the roll?
Ayes 15,
Delegate
0-0.
Wyatt, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day. Next, we have Delegate Rome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the members of the committee, and it's good to see my former NVTA colleague, Senator Voisko, as well. So this is HB 540. This is an agency bill from the Department of Motor Vehicles to allow the DMV to approve driver's license extensions for active duty service members, as well as their spouses and dependents for up to 6 years instead of 3 years. The purpose of the bill is to ensure those in service to the country have an extended grace period for keeping their driver's license documentation up to date on serving or on deployment. For good cause shown, the DMV may extend driver's licenses up to 2 years from the date of expiration rather than 1 year in this bill as well. And I would also note that Commissioner Ford is here to speak on the bill.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions from the committee of Delegate Rome? Commissioner Ford, do you have any comments?
Mr. Chairman, members, this is an administration bill or an agency bill. The administration supports it, so it will help a small population, but an important population.
All right, thank you so much. Anyone in the audience care to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Senator Suderline.
I noticed that there was an administration figure up here in support of the bill. Is this part of Governor Youngkin's day one game plan?
Mr. Chairman, I would say to the senator, sure.
It sounds excellent. It's got a great number attached to it, too.
Senator Suderline, you know, what wouldn't be a good day one bill here at
Don't mess the bill up now. Don't mess the bill up.
Transportation. Anyone else on the committee have a question? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition? Anyone in the virtual community who would like to weigh in on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on the bill, please raise your hand. Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker, Vic Nichols. You may unmute and begin your testimony.
Vic, are you there? Ms. Nichols, is she there?
Yes. Thank you very much. We have had multiple generations of my family donated to every military branch with the exception of the Marines. We have our second generation from us that is now going out and they're enlisting. This would be a great thing. You know, when you come back from being deployed or out of the country or things like that, a lot of small things go by the wayside, and this can be one of them. So I appreciate Delegate Rome looking out for, you know, just the small things that would help us. And I hope that you will pass the bill. Thank you.
And
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. I wish you'd support some of my efforts, I tell you. All right. Do we have a motion on the bill?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to report the bill. Could you open the rolls?
And Mr. Chairman, just as a reminder, this is a bill so good, even Senator Suderline can vote for it. There's no 39 to Suderline today. This is just unanimous.
He's been Mr. Green all day today. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Delegate Rome. Next, we have Delegate McQuinn.
Mr. Chairman, his mom and dad, he's behaving himself today.
Oh, okay. That's right. His folks are here.
Good afternoon.
Delegate McQuinn.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Now, I have two bills. Do you want me to? Which one do you want me to?
Which one would you like to do first?
I will go with the House Bill 142.
turn your attention to House Bill 142.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 142 is the Virginia Transit Ridership Incentive Program bill. And what this bill does is, matter of fact, let me back up. The ridership program is a statewide grant program dedicated to improving transit regional connectivity in urban areas and helping to eliminate barriers to transit opportunities. And so this particular program looked at the percentage of funds that was going into the connectivity and then free or reduced fare program. And during COVID, we saw a reduction in the connectivity piece and an increase in those who were commuting. And so the bill that has come forward, the program changes from the maximum of 25% to a minimum of 25% the amount of transit ridership incentive program funds to be used to the establishment of that particular part of the program. And so it reduces the impact of fares on low-income individuals. And then it established a floor of 25% to support regional transit initiative. And any additional dollars that would be used, it would be used at the discretion of the Commonwealth Transit Board, which will decide how the additional funds will be allocated. There is a comparative bill by Senator Barker, Senator SB 342. The difference is my bill caps the percentage, and I don't think it may be a part of it that caps it.
Yes, I spoke to Senator Barker, and I think he wants to stick with his version when it comes over to the House, so y'all can sort that out. Sort that out there. Any questions from the committee on the bill?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cosgrove.
Would a motion to conform be in order?
What do you think, Emma, in terms of conforming this one? We can certainly do that.
Mr. Chairman, what you would lose in this bill if you were to conform would be the minimum, the requirement that a minimum of 25% of the funds be used to support regional transit initiatives. So that would be the effect of conforming.
Okay, let's just pass this one.
I want to pass this one independently, Mr. Chairman.
And we'll take it over that way. Anyone in the audience or anyone else on the committee have a question? Senator DeStaff.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Quinn,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you the same question we asked before. Hopefully DRPT is here to
Yes,
help
they
answer
are.
it. I understand we've gone from a maximum of 25% of the funds available to be used for regional transit. Now we're saying a floor of 25%. Is there a maximum number, or it's 25% up to 100% of the funds available could be used for?
And I'm going to, Mr. Chair, may I invite
All
Lisa
right, yeah.
here, and then
Please.
DRPT is here as well. Jennifer is here as well.
I don't know if she wants to go first. And then,
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, we actually
tell folks who
I'm sorry, Jennifer Mitchell, Director of DRPT. We actually prefer the language that in Delegate McQuinn's bill, it does have a cap of 75% that could go to the one program. It has a floor of 25% that gives the CTB discretion within that, but at no time would the CTB be able to allocate 100% to one program or the other.
But this is to grant greater flexibility and range.
Yes.
In terms of the awards.
Yep.
Okay, Senator Cosgrove.
If I might, you said up to a maximum of 75%, but I'm looking at the language in the bill. Maybe I'm just missing it. I don't see a cap at 75%.
Language in front of me.
Mr. Chairman, I can answer the question if you'd like.
Ms. Buck.
Mr. Chairman, the 75%, it isn't written in the bill as 75%, but because 25 are required to be used for the the regional transit initiatives, that would reserve 25% for those initiatives.
So it's implied in the bill.
It says at least 25% for the regional program and at least 25% for the no fare. So the 75% isn't quoted.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator DeStaff.
Senator McQuinn, thank you. Delegate McQuinn, thank you.
You're welcome. Did you want to speak?
Mr. Chairman, Lisa Guthrie with the Virginia Transit Association. We support the bill, and we believe that it rebalances the program that was a part of the omnibus bill of 2020. Right now, the whole trip program receives 6% of the Commonwealth Transit Fund, and so this is something that's under the directive of DRPT and CTB, but it gives them some more flexibility to meet the needs of the applications each year.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition? Anyone in the virtual world would like to weigh in?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak on this bill, please raise your hand. Mr. Chairman, we have 2 speakers. Wyatt Gordon, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Mr. Gordon.
Hello, committee. Thank you for having me today. On behalf of Virginia Conservation Network, we support this proposal. We think this helps to rebalance where the current demand for transit is right now. We are seeing less ridership the further out you go, so it's really to an advantage to allow different systems to experiment a little bit more with reduced fare to boost access and boost ridership. So we are in favor of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Next.
Tynesia Griffin, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Tanisha Griffin, Environmental Policy Analyst for New Virginia Majority. As we supported Senator Barker's SB 342, we also support Delegate McQuinn's HB 142, giving us ability to further support the low-income transit projects through the TRIP program. So I want to thank Delegate McQuinn for bringing this forward, and hope you all will also support this measure as you did with Senator Barker's bill.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. And Delegate McQuinn, this is during the pandemic, I guess ridership was significantly impacted. And how much did that have to do with reconfiguring the?
It had a lot to do with that. I mean, the ridership did go up, and we realized that the essential personnel was definitely, there was demand for them to have transportation and those opportunities. So
this is an attempt to get the numbers right to maximize ridership and fairness in terms of tolls.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have.
Mr. Chairman, I move to report this bill.
Second.
It's been long overdue.
We have a motion and a second to report the bill. Would you open the rolls, please?
Ayes 9, noes 6.
Ayes 9, no 6. The bill reports.
Okay.
Thank you, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next, we have Delegate Helmer, and then we have a quick one with.
Chair, another bill, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, I have one more bill.
Oh, you have one more.
Yes,
Excuse me.
yes.
I'm sorry.
And,
What's the next bill?
And hopefully, House Bill 138.
Turn your attention to House Bill 138.
And this bill as well, there is a companion bill by Senator McClellan. And House Bill 138 is just a technical amendment. And what it does, it enables the Central Virginia Transportation Authority to add the executive director of the Capital Region Airport Commission as a non-voting member. 5 other states or local public body related to transportation are already non-voting members of CVTA, and so to help keep CVTA informed with the local transportation needs and development, we're asking that, again, the executive director of the Capital Region Airport Commission be added as a non-voting member.
Thank you, Delegate McQuinn. You said there was a companion bill of Senator McClellan's? I don't
Yes. Senator McClellan's bill is Senate Bill 340. No, that's not 342.
Ms. Bach?
Mr. Chairman, I
476,
apologize.
I'm sorry.
I apologize, committee members. This isn't on your notes because that one actually went through local government. So I missed that one. So this is SB 476.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So we do have it. Is it identical or is it a similar?
It's identical.
It is identical.
Yes, sir.
And we have passed it out of the Senate through, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Second.
Hold on. Mr. Broadbent, did you want to weigh in on
I
this?
want to speak in favor. Peter Broadbent with Christian Barton representing the Richmond International Airport, and we thank the delegate and support the bill.
All right. We have ruled on this in the Senate successfully, and we have a motion to well, do we have anybody in the audience wish to speak in support or opposition? Anyone in the virtual world wish to weigh in on the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I believe we have do we have a motion and a second? I think we did. All right, would you open the rolls?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bill reports. Delegate
Thank you.
Helmer, I believe, is
Thank you.
next.
Have a
Thank
good
you, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Delegate McQuinn.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members.
Welcome, Delegate Helmer. What do you have for us today?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. In front of you, you have House Bill 1238.
Turn your attention to House Bill 1238. Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, House Bill 1238 was brought on behalf of a number of your and my constituents. It simply renames, or actually it doesn't rename, it adds an honorary name to Brentwood Drive of Valuvar Way. Valuvar is a famous Tamil poet. We have 50,000 Tamil Indian Americans here in Virginia. They are very excited that if you were to report this bill, this would be the first Tamil way in the United States of America, and are all waiting with bated breath to hear what you do. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
When you say it is a secondary name, or what was the term you used?
It is an honorary name, Mr. Chair. So the road will actually nobody lives on the road, but if someone were to want to change their address name, it'll be an additional sign on the roadway that indicates that this is also known as Valuvar Way.
And is this a common practice with VDOT?
It is a. I don't know, Mr. Chair, how common it is. It is sufficiently common that we have a process in place, and we also have alignment from the county, who's here to testify, who's passed a resolution, also calling for this.
Okay, so if I want to add my name to a road, I can do that?
Mr. Chair, as long as you get a great House patron, we're happy to discuss.
I think the Board of Supervisors might have something to say.
There's them, yeah.
Them.
Anyone on the committee have a question?
Mr. Chairman?
Senator Spruill.
Two questions. Are you a lawyer?
Mr. Chair, I'd answer the senator that I'm lots of things and been called lots of things, but I'm not an attorney.
Well, I'm trying to get some kudos. Mr. Chairman, I was so impressed. Came by my office and he gave me a folder and a folder announcement. Said, this guy's got on board. He's almost sharper than Delegate Bear, almost. I'm impressed. I'm voting for that bill because you impressed me.
All right.
I'm voting for
Here
it.
we go. Other questions from committee members? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, Noel Dominguez on behalf of Fairfax County. My board does support the bill and passed a resolution saying so last week, so we have that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anyone in opposition to the bill? Is there anyone in the virtual world who wishes to speak in favor or opposed to the bill?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak, please raise your hand electronically. There are no speakers, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, in honor of the Tamil people, I ask that we pass this bill, make a motion for it.
And I'll second
We
that
have a motion and a second to pass the bill. Could you open the rolls, please?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The bill reports. Congratulations.
Thank you,
There
Mr.
we
Chair.
go.
Thank you, members.
Delegate Bell, you arrived just in time. I believe we have some technical amendments to your bill that need to be reported. Is that correct? Just the Batten one. Oh, okay, I was told. So we have Senate Bill 1140, or House Bill 1146. Delegate Bell.
Mr. Chair, this is was started as a tiny bill, and then they wanted to keep it consistent with some larger measures going through, like the Batten bill that you've already heard? Yeah, that you heard a little while ago. Albemarle County is bigger than the nearby counties. They would like to offer the service of training school bus drivers. The smaller counties are not big enough to have enough volume to make that happen. They can't do it because Greene County bus drivers don't work for Albemarle. This would fix that problem. Staff was kind enough to make it consistent with Delegate Batten's bill, which I gather covered bigger and broader issues as well.
Okay, so it would be satisfactory then to roll this into her bill?
We would like to have it because Albemarle County people brought it, but we understand that the process works the way it works.
We
The important
can't-
thing is to change the law.
roll. We can't roll a House bill into another House bill.
Okay then.
Good point. Anyone here on?
We weren't sure how
committee-
these would be received in the House
Yeah.
side. We thought we're not sure what's going to happen over here. So,
Anyone in the committee have a question?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cosgrove.
Very briefly, Delegate Bell, this is a good bill. This is a needed bill. We all know that, first off, we have a severe shortage of bus drivers throughout the Commonwealth. And if this makes it any easier to get more bus drivers, then I think it's a bill well worth having. So with that, I'd move to report.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to
Mr.
report
Chairman.
the bill. We have another question. Senator McPike.
Yeah, just real briefly. I believe I heard the delegate this morning request all of his bill go to judiciary, all of them. That's
No,
what
I
he
wasn't.
said
I
in
don't-
Ed and Health this morning, right? You wanted everything to go to judiciary.
Mr. Chair, I tell the gentleman, while I might have made that on one bill, and of course, at the committee's discretion, no, sir, I would prefer not to have them all go to judicial.
Okay, we have a motion to move the bill to judiciary. No, just kidding. All right. Any other questions from the committee? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone wish to speak in opposition to the bill? Anyone in the virtual world wish to weigh in?
If you are in the Zoom room and would like to speak, please raise your hand electronically. Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker, Helen Dunn. You may unmute and begin your testimony.
Hi, thank you so much, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and Delegate Bell. My name is Helen Dunn, and I'm the Legislative and Public Affairs Officer for Albemarle County Public Schools. And we're so grateful to Delegate Bell for sponsoring this bill. We're currently down of our 160 needed bus drivers. We're currently down 30. This is partly due to resignations, as you can imagine, that's going on all over the place, partly due to COVID infections, quarantines, exposures, et cetera. Most of our bus drivers drive 3 to 4 routes daily, and almost every one of those routes is at full capacity right now. Our county is over 750 square miles, and our drivers drive 14,000 miles a day. And they tend to be the first, in many cases, the first school division personnel that students see and the last that they see at the end of the day. So they're really incredibly important to our operations every day. And we're pretty desperate to recruit more, as you can imagine, and to fill this important role. And I know Albemarle County is not alone in this. This is an issue all over the state. So we've already raised minimum wage for bus drivers. That has helped some with recruitment, but obviously hasn't resolved it. So for this reason, any flexibility in the testing and training that can go on related to commercial driver's licenses has the potential to improve our ability to recruit and retain bus drivers in Albemarle County and all over the Commonwealth. So we're already a training site and a testing site for CDLs, but that's not the case everywhere.
Mr. Chair.
We're happy to provide assistance for other school divisions in their efforts to recruit, but we don't have enough staff to do that. So this would make this possible. This bill would really open up a lot of flexibility.
All right. Thank you
Just
so,
for us, but
thank you so much.
Thank
Delegate
you.
Bell.
Thank
I was
you
just
so
going to
much.
tell Helen thank you, but I think things are going in the right direction. So let's not talk ourselves past the sale.
Delegate Bell, out of curiosity, what have they raised the hourly wage?
Oh, she said that before. I don't know the actual number. You could ask her,
Okay.
or I could bring that back to you.
No, that's plus health insurance. Interesting. All right. Any other questions from the panel?
Move to report.
Okay, we have a motion to pass the bill and to
I will second the
to report
motion.
the bill in a second. Could you open the rolls?
I thank the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll find that out.
Thank
for
you, Delegate Bell. Folks, we have Senator Cosgrove.
If you want, we have Delegate Lethbridge's bill. I believe it's, I need to check with council. Delegate Lethbridge has 1050 in here. I believe it is the same as Senator Edwards' 139. If can ask council. if that's
This is the bill on
Minors,
on minors and
drivers.
issuance, and I spoke with Senator Edwards earlier, and he is fine with the idea that there could be an alternative means like virtual rather than just saying that you can cancel it. So that would, so I think probably what would happen, I would guess, is if he goes over to the Senate with his bill, he would conform it to theirs, because I think he's fine with that, and we'd be good to go. So since we've heard the bill here in the Senate, does anyone have any objections to hearing Delegate Lethwich's bill being presented by Senator Cosgrove? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we've already, touched on this bill. This just actually adds a virtual ability, so I would move to report the bill.
We have a motion and a second to report the bill. And could you open the rolls, please?
Ayes 15, no zero.
Ayes 15, no zero. The only thing, Senator Boysko. I was just going to announce that I believe we have 3 other bills that are coming our way that just haven't been reported yet. So we will have a meeting next week for.
LaRock?
Mr. Chair, LaRock has a bill,
Yes.
793,
Yeah,
that
well-
is identical to mine.
You want to do the same thing we just
Yeah.
did with
Yes,
that?
sir.
Could you just tell us about the bill very quickly?
Sure, this is the traffic incident management vehicles. We amended it so that they were, I'm just going to pull up my notes. And I know that, is he here? He's not. Hold on just a sec. I'm sorry. Didn't know we were going to jump into this. We amended it slightly, and I bet council could, or maybe Phil might be able to help us, but it was a minor change.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, to conform the bills on line 17 of the engrossed bill after 46.2-920.1, we would insert the provisions of section 46.2-920 shall not apply to the operation of such traffic incident management vehicles.
And Mr. Chair, that would just make clear that these vehicles do not operate as emergency vehicles. This bill went out with strong support and passed through the Senate with.
So we need to accept that?
Yes, sir. I
All
move
right,
that
we have a
we
motion to
conform.
accept the amendment?
Moved, and I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, the bill is before us as amended. Do we have a motion?
Move to report.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to report. Would you open the rolls, please?
Sorry, I accidentally hit both buttons. Hang on.
Are you trying to go no? There we go.
Ayes 10, noes 5.
Ayes 10, noes 5, the bill reports. I believe that puts us in where we have 3 bills that haven't been reported to us yet from the House. We will take those up next week. Is there any other matters to come before the committee? The committee will rise.